what is the reason why for the goal? And if my reason why doesn't make me cry, I'm probably on the wrong goal. So I've got to come up with a goal that is so important to me that the thought of not achieving it makes me cry. And the thought of achieving it makes me cry. And I've gotten really good at that.
How you can be the greatest salesperson on the planet.
Welcome to the Rethink Sales Show. My name is Derek Kelly. I am joined by Jim
High
Shorkey.
five. High five. The heck. It's a floor five stuff.
And Jim, so many people talk about action steps or disciplines or habits, right? And they talk about goals, but you take it a step deeper, or I could say a step higher. You talk about you must have a reason why that
Yes.
makes you cry.
Yes.
That is powerful.
And there's no question. So the first step in our journey to success is we have to establish a very clear, concise goal. We got to be able to write this goal down. We got to have a picture of the goal, how much, how big, what color, whatever the case may be. We've got to be very clear and very concise in terms of what the goal is. Number one. Number two is, why does this goal matter? What matters about this goal? And so we call this in Rethink You 2.0 parlance, thinking it through the whole way through. And so I want to ask myself at least 7 times, I'll ask you the same way, why does this matter? And somebody will say, because of A. Okay, why is that important? Because of B. Okay, what's the big deal about that? And I keep asking them basically different ways of saying why, but basically I want to get to 7 questions about this why. And at the end of that 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th question, whatever it is, they start to cry. They start to get very emotional. And once I see that, then I know that I've struck a nerve. And now we have the reason why that makes us cry. And so we have the goal, very clear, very concise. We get that all written out. But the reason why is what's going to really drive this thing forward. But it's more than that. We have our reason why that makes us cry, and we have our goal very clear and very concise. Okay, let's put those off to the side. The next step in our goal achieving process is to seek expert counsel. Find somebody who has done what we want to do successfully and have a conversation. So that might be a book, that might be a video, that might be a one-on-one conversation. This person has to have credentials. They have done what I want to do successfully. So I have this conversation and I want to pick their brain via the book, whatever. I'm taking notes. And so from there, I'm going to develop a list of things that I need to do based on expert counsel. And I'm going to develop a list of things that I need to stop doing based on expert counsel. And I have 2 lists now, a to-do list and a to-not-do list. And now next step is to get into action. And the only thing that's going to produce results is actions. Okay. A lot of people get this wrong. Thinking produces results. No, it doesn't. Even our company results from thinking. Thinking is just the first step. It's not enough. We got to go way beyond that. And we do teach that in Rethink You 2.0. So the idea would be to get the goal, the reason why it makes us cry, and then develop those lists. And most people in our space are going to tell you to focus on the goal. That's the last thing you want to do. You do not focus on the goal. Put the goal on your mirror, put it on your whiteboard, put it wherever you have the goal, you see it. Keep your reasons why in your brain, keep them in front of you. Okay, we got that. But the thing we want to focus on 100% more than anything else is the list. It's the disciplines. That's what we want to focus on, is every single day doing those 10 disciplines to the best of our ability. Every single day, keep staying away from the 10 that we don't want to do. We keep going and going. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. We keep going. Day 30, month 1, month 2, month 3. Now, because these disciplines came from expert counsel and because these actions produce results, we're going to get to the goal. It's that simple. We're going to get there. And if we're not getting there at the right pace, then we seek expert counsel again to make sure we have clarity on these 2 lists. Maybe we misinterpreted. Maybe we didn't understand. Maybe we should join a think tank, which I did, by the way, to further, to add to the list. So I started off with 10, and then I got 12, and then 13, and then 15, whatever. And so I kept working at it and working at it. And I got to the goal based on the actions. Actions produce results. No action is an action. No decision is a decision. You're deciding not to decide. So people talk about persistence as being the secret. It is not. The thing we want to persist with is the disciplines. Okay. If you're on the wrong discipline, you want to stop. The last thing you want to do is persist with that discipline, because this is going to get you to fail twice as fast. People say to me, I've heard this 1,000 times, you fail your way to success. No, you don't. No, you don't. Stop the nonsense. You fail your way to failure. That's only one thing you can do. You fail your way to failure. You learn from your failures. How about don't make them to begin with? Then you don't have to learn. So if we go to expert counsel and we get the list, it's from expert counsel. You hear me? So if we do what he tells us or she tells us to do, the fastest way for us to get there is based on expert counsel. And even there may be a step that doesn't work for us. So that would be a failure. And we do, yeah, of course, we learn from that failure. But the idea for me is I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail at anything. I don't want failure disciplines. I want success disciplines. Make sense?
Yeah. So how does can somebody take themselves through that why process? Can they sit down and ask themselves
absolutely
7 times, hey, why am I doing this?
I think so.
Because so many people, so why does just having a goal, some pieces under that goal and some disciplines, why is that not enough? Why do you need that reason?
Because you're going to have setbacks. So let me share with you my reason why. So I'm in the hospital, very sick, a lot of pain. And I had this thought, I don't even know where it came from, but I thought about great grandchildren. Okay. Is that going deep?
It's going deep.
I'm 68 years old. I have 9 grandchildren. My oldest grandchild, who is my granddaughter, is 13 years old. My logical mind says 17 years from now, there's a good probability that between those 9 grandchildren, there will be a great grandchild. I want to hold that grandchild, that great grandchild. And it goes deeper. I want to be able to, 10 years beyond that, now I've got a 10-year-old great grandchild. And I want to be able to mentor that great grandchild. I want to be able to sit on my front porch right where I'm at. We've done it. I want to sit there and say, hey, this is what Pop thinks. I think what you're thinking is wrong. Here's what I think it should be. And here's why I think I'm right. And we have this conversation. I want to be able to do that. So now, not only so I'm thinking my granddaughter, is 13. So I'm figuring 30, that's 17 years plus another 10 is 27.
So
and
you're,
I just
you're
said
95. Yeah.
That's 95. So I got to get to 95. And the probability of me getting to 95 is really, really low. And I did have a stroke. So the probability of me having a neurological disease, meaning Parkinson's, dementia, leading to Alzheimer's, MS, it's very high. But I didn't even realize this at the time, but also the chances of me having another stroke at this point is higher than normal. You never had a stroke. So I have a higher chance of having another one than you have of having your first one. My play there is 100% stroke recovery. And knowing that in the background are these neurological diseases and another stroke, what can I do to prevent that from happening? To delay that. So in other words, I'm going to have this stroke at 100 versus 90. Does that make sense? So I want to delay it. I want to put it down the road. So prevent, delay, mitigate. I have another stroke, but it's not as bad as the first one because I did the right things. Now, what are those right things? Oh, I got to seek expert counsel. If I showed you my stack of books, you would be shocked. I'll show you today before you leave. It is incredible. It's probably 20 books about Alzheimer's, understanding this terrible disease, about the different neurological diseases, about how to age successfully, about how to avoid the pitfalls and whatnot. And I can show you. I can prove it, right? And it turns out that, for example, for what I'm trying to do, the aerobic exercise is really important. Turns out that reading for what I'm trying to do is really important. And I can tell you, Luke, you were asking me earlier about steps. I'm at 7885 right now because I've been filling in the gaps as we're working here today. And when you guys leave, I'm going to make my salad. Okay. Diet turns out it's real important for preventing, delaying, mitigating this whole thing. So I'm going to make my salad. It's going to be really healthy. You with me?
Yes.
And then I'm going to walk till I get to my 12,000 step goal for today, which means I need to do another roughly 4,000 steps. Okay, that's 2 miles. That'll be done. And then I'll sit down and have my salad. You with me?
Yes.
So I'm dialed in. And when I get to the point where I don't feel like doing, and Jim Rohn said, you can't pay somebody else to do your push-ups. He said that all the time. I got to do my push-ups. So when I have that hesitation, I say, Jim, let's not forget your reason why that makes you cry. I have it. It's in there.
Yeah.
And so get your butt out of bed and bang out the push-ups.
Yeah.
Be a man, Jim.
So those setbacks don't crush you.
So they don't crush you.
Because I imagine for some people, I had this goal. I hear people all the time, New Year's resolution. I have this goal. The goal is gone in a month. The goal is gone in 2 weeks.
I don't do
Right.
New Year's resolutions. Here's my advice on New Year's resolutions, ladies and gentlemen. If it's November 30th and you're thinking about a New Year's resolution, start today. Why wait till January the 1st? If it's that important to you, your reasons why make you cry, let's start today. So that when we get to January 1st, we're already well on our way to having established a new habit. The fact is that being at some party and talking about New Year's resolutions, those aren't, you know what? If you're going to make a New Year's resolution, make it. But listen to the wording. You're resolving. You're resolute. You're doing this. The fact is that I believe the number is right around 70% don't make it 30 days. I think it's around it. You can look it up. Google it. Prove me wrong.
Yep.
It's very high. They're done after 30 days. Why? Because they never committed to begin with. They didn't resolve. They weren't resolute. And they didn't really figure out the reason why they even want to do it. So they just cave to the setbacks. Not me. I'm in. I'm working my butt off. And so when I go back to the doctor, they fall over. They can't believe it. Look at me. I have strength. How am I doing? How am I doing?
Great.
How's my brain working?
Every time you tell me, they say excellent. I even checked it up on Amy. She said, hey, check in with Jim every 6 months. Check in with me. She was worried at first.
Sure she was. She was devastated.
Remember
I
her
was dying.
calling me saying, man, Jim still has some neurological issues. Jim still has some...
I did.
I don't get that.
I did.
Yeah, that phone call doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, memory issues. I remember my MG, my red MG, standard transmission, standard steering, you know, and I was now recovering, I don't know, maybe 2 months into the recovery, because I would have been, because that was March, April, May, probably around May. And I decided I'm going to draw my MG, which is a feat in and of itself. I'm using both feet, okay? And who's driving the feet? If you think your feet are driving, they're not. Your brain is driving your feet. If you think your hands are doing the shifting, they're not. Your brain is doing the shifting, transmitting the signal to your hands. So my brain is making my hands work. If my brain's flawed, my hands aren't going to work right. So the fact that I can even drive a standard transmission MGB, which is at best, it's 0 to 60 in about 2 or 3 days. Okay, so it's not they're not the most sophisticated cars, but I love it. So the first day I drove the MG, I actually hurt myself getting in the car. I actually hurt I think it was my groin or hamstring, because you got to really like hunker down to get in this thing. But I drove it successfully, but I hurt myself. And so I had to take away from it a little bit, and then I got back to it because I wanted to drive that car. And guess what? I'm going to drive. I got one of my MGs. I have 2 of them. One of my MGs is in the garage right now. Am I going to drive it today? No. It's a classic. I'm not driving it in assault and all this crap that's out there right now. But I will drive it. I will drive it. I already know it, and I can. I know I can. But I couldn't at first.
Wow.
So there you go.
That's powerful. Your reason why. Yeah.
Oh, my reason why. Yeah. Yeah. That's another one. Like I talked about the grandchildren, but also I do want to drive my cars. I do.
Yeah. And you want to be here for conversations like this?
I do. At 100. At 100. I want to be doing this at 100. I want to sit down with you at 100. And we're both going to be old folks. How old are you right now?
I'm 34.
You're young.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you were that young. You're a lot younger than me. If I'm 100, that's...
Yeah, 32 more years on top of
You'll
me.
be 60-something. So we'll both be old farts.
Yeah, I'll be old.
But I want to do it at 100. It makes me cry. I want to do it at 100. I want to be here at 100. I think there's so much out there for me at 100. And even if it's nothing more than being able to tell somebody that I'm 100 years old. And they say, wow, that's pretty cool. How did you do that? You got about an hour? Let me tell you. So great question that we should all ask ourselves. I think I already asked this question today, but what can I do today that 100-year-old Jim Shorkey is going to be grateful for? And what can I stop doing today that 100-year-old Jim Shorkey is going to be grateful for? And if I'm going to get to 100, I want to be really dynamic. I want to be rocking and rolling. And I'm 100 and we're on the front porch, Derek and I having a conversation. I'm going to say, hey, Derek, my watch just buzzed me. Time for us to move. And Derek and I are going to go out and walk around our little circle, my little circle out there. And at 100 years old to be able to do that, that is miraculous. That is remarkable. Well, I want that. I really do. I want that. I think that'd be pretty dang cool.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it'd be pretty dang cool.
Jim, thank you for sharing the value in having your reason why.
Absolutely.
Guys, please subscribe, but don't just do it for us, but do it for yourself. Do it for a way to invest in yourself and the ways in which you want to grow in your sales and in